This is the city commission meeting for Tucumcari, March the 10th. Tonight, our invitation will be given by Commissioner Arias, and I'll lead the Pledge of Allegiance, so if you'd please stand.
In the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Heavenly Father, we thank you for this day. We thank you for the many gifts, especially life, friends, and family. Heavenly Father, we ask for your blessing tonight as we work for the betterment of the city of Tucumcari. May we pass things all pleasing to you. For the sake of his artful passion, have mercy on us and on the whole world. In the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Roll call, please.
Mayor Litchfield,
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Moya,
Here.
Commissioner Villanueva,
Here.
Commissioner Arias,
Here.
Commissioner Terry.
Here.
Are there any considerations of changes or deletions to the agenda?
No.
There being none, I would entertain a motion to approve the agenda as is.
So moved, Madam Mayor.
Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Roll call, please.
Mayor Pro Tem Moya,
Yes.
Commissioner Villanueva,
Yes.
Commissioner Arias,
Yes.
Commissioner Terry,
Yes.
Mayor Litchfield.
Yes. There weren't any signups for public comments.
No, ma'am.
Okay, so we'll skip that and go to the consent agenda. The consent agenda is approved by a single motion. Any member of the commission may request that an item be transferred to the regular agenda from the consent without discussion or vote. Tonight, we will be voting on approval of work session notes for February 24th, commission meeting minutes for February 24th, special commission meeting for March 3rd, acknowledgement of May 18th planning and zoning minutes, appointment of Michael Carlson to Planning and Zoning Commission. Are there any questions or discussion? There being none, I would entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Madam Mayor, make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, roll call, please.
Commissioner Villanueva,
Yes.
Commissioner Arias,
Yes.
Commissioner Terry,
Yes.
Mayor Litchfield,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Moya.
Yes.
Thank you to Michael Carlson for volunteering for our Planning and Zoning Commission. Is that commission now filled? It is, so we don't need any more? Okay. Because I've had one other person ask me about it, so I will relay that. Next is ordinances and resolutions. Ordinance 1162A, the first reading, amending the official zoning districts map. Part of ordinance 1052 is a recommendation from planning and zoning regarding rezone for Michelle Chavez.
I'll present that, Mayor.
Okay,
As you said, this is an ordinance, the first reading of the ordinance that Michelle Chavez proposed to rezone Block 10, Lot 7 through 12 of the Highland Park Edition from residential to medium density residential to R3 multiple family residential. I believe this is, if you all allow me to approve this or to advertise this in the Clay County Sun, it'll be advertised on Wednesday, and the second reading will be the first meeting in April, which I believe is the 10th of April, if I'm not mistaken. Would be the second reading.
okay, all right. And is there anything else you want to add to it? Tell about what it's going to be used for or anything like that?
That I don't know. Shreya may have a little bit more information on the purpose of her asking for this rezone.
So Ms. Chavez is going to be moving her daycare center, the Turquoise Center on Adams and the Boulevard. She will be moving it to that property. And
6th Street.
yes, and it's an old church, and so we have to rezone it for it to allow the daycare.
Okay, I know. Okay.
Okay,
Madam Mayor,
yes.
if I may. My question is, they're just getting a variance for the day school, right? And then they're going to rezone for other purposes.
They have to rezone for the daycare.
Okay.
The was it R2 originally?
Yes.
R2 does not allow for daycares. So that's why they have to rezone to R3. R3 allows for daycares under conditional use.
Okay.
And so she's applied for that as well.
But it's for the whole half a block.
Yes.
Okay, so my next question is, because there was reference to it in the minutes, is there's not going to be an alley closure, is that correct, or there is?
No, there isn't.
There is not?
No.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay. So that was the first reading. We don't have to approve or anything.
No, I just need to get the okay to
Right.
advertise.
So do you need a motion for that?
No.
Okay. All right, next is ordinance 1163. The first reading is a recommendation for Planning and Zoning Commission regarding the red zone for empty properties. Are you doing that one also?
I'm gonna do that as well, yes, ma'am. Okay, so this ordinance is ordinance 1163. It's at the same stage as the first reading. They are asking that a tract of land in the southeast quarter of section 24, located on Mountain Road from A1 agricultural, be changed to C1 general commercial.
Okay.
And this one I am a little bit more familiar with. I believe the applicant is requesting to, what he plans, his intentions with this property are to build a dispensary from the ground up.
Which one is that? I don't know, over the ground now.
I
I know, is that all Bob White's property area?
don't know if
It's that area, but I don't think it's his property.
or something?
It's between that
And teach you can carry properties,
I know it's on Mountain Road.
right.
I believe he's also going to be building a coffee shop as well.
right,
I think that's Bill Baum, isn't that Bill Baum's place?
across the street.
Right next to ours, right next to us.
Okay.
It's
There's
between
a mountain
Fairfield
road,
Inn, it's between Fairfield Inn and RV, the RV
Oh,
park.
okay,
Okay.
yeah, okay, no, that would have been, that used to be ours.
And so same thing, I just need your all's okay to publish.
All right. Thank you. Okay, next on the agenda is bids and contracts. The Law Enforcement Protection Fund application for 2022-23. Chief Rivera will be giving that one.
Good evening, Mayor, Commissioner, City Manager. Today I'm asking to get approval for the 2022-2023 Law Enforcement Protection Fund that we get every year. The application is due March the 31st. Everything is online. I presented you with the application that I'll be doing online, and I just need approval and a signature.
Are there any questions on this?
It's 45,000?
45,000 is the base, and $1,000 for every certified officer that we have.
And what do we use them for, most of this fund?
The last times we usually use them for a vehicle. With this much that we're getting, it's double this year. I'm shooting for 2 vehicles because I do have some money from left over from last year, but it just depends.
Isn't some of your equipment needs to be updated? We don't have a lot of it.
Oh, well, we're
Don't do their.
working on several other ones. You'll see me next commission meeting with another one, and I probably will bring you the one after. We're starting to equip a lot of our stuff and getting where we need to be.
Good, because sometimes you call in for a report that it's still not done, you know, I mean, sometimes.
Okay, so I would entertain a motion to approve this contract with the Law Enforcement Protection Fund, or application rather.
Madam Mayor, I so approve, or move.
Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Okay, roll call please.
Commissioner Arias,
Yes.
Commissioner Terry,
Yes.
Mayor Litchfield,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Moya,
Yes.
Commissioner Ganova.
Yes.
Okay, next is new business. My papers out. Request approval to utilize lodgers tax funds for the Longhorns during Rawhide Days.
Yes, ma'am, I'll be presenting that. This item was presented to the Lodgers Tax Board in an effort to help support the Rawhide Days event. There was a request to fund the talent, if you would, to bring in the Longhorns. That's one of the biggest attractions when it comes to the parade. Lodgers Tax voted to approve that unanimously, just to cover all the grounds and make sure everything was legit. We went ahead and pushed it before the city attorney as well. he stated that we will be setting the precedence by doing this, that it's easy for us to use these executive funds and they could be abused if we don't pay attention and take great care of what we're going to do. So that's the only caution. We just need to make sure when we have these requests for executive funds that they are legit and it doesn't get abused out of the executive fund. He wasn't particularly a big fan of using lodger's tax for this, but he does know that other entities also utilize executive lodger's tax funds for things of this nature. He just wanted to caution us that it will open up a can of worms, and we'll probably have a lot of other organizations asking for executive funds for things, but he did say that it is allowable.
And this was approved by the Lodgers Tax Board, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Let me ask you a question. If I recall, didn't we give them $22,000?
I believe it was 20,000 and they utilized 7,000. That was specifically for advertising, but this is not advertising. This is specific to the talent to bring in the Longhorns. Fuel prices have gone up, prices have gone up.
I understand that, but remember, we had given them 13. They came back and asked for more money. And
Correct.
we went up to 20-something, 20. No, I'm confused. Now, are they asking for more money or just,
So the discussion
what's
is
going on?
the remaining $13,000 of that 20 was going to go towards executive, but to be more clean, I guess, and for the financial side of things, I feel it's cleanest to just not transfer. It's a request for a transfer from promotion funds to executive of the remaining 13,000 balance. My recommendation would be to take that $13,000 and roll it over for promotion use for future events for the future. But if the commission chooses to take this 13,000, it needs to come from the executive side funds. It's not eligible to do promotional. So they wouldn't get 20,000 and an additional 13,000. It's 7,000 and 13 for
Yeah,
still a total.
the original proposal was we were gonna give them 13,000, then they came back and said, we need 20,000 or so. You were here, you got it.
Matt's here.
Thank
Okay,
you.
Matt, you explain.
They asked for, sorry,
25.
they asked for 25. In the past, they've asked for 12, 15, maybe 21 year. We cut, the largest tax put a recommendation for 12,500, I believe. And y'all, the city commission approved them for 20.
Yeah, because
And they only used 7.
Mhm.
This other 13 would equal 20, and that's what we approved. We didn't approve another 13.
It's just left over from
Yeah.
what they had
Okay,
originally
so
asked.
the one you're leaving over, you're gonna return it back to promotional or what?
Well, now, what was said at the largest tax meeting is we were gonna transfer the 13,000 to executive. Mr. Martinez was gonna contact the lawyer just to see if that was legit. He thinks it's cleaner not to, so but she's only gonna spend 20,000 total.
It's cleaner to roll over that 13,000 and keep it in promotional, because at the beginning of the year, you have to split it up and you have to allocate 50% executive, 50% promotional. So to not mess with the percentages, it's cleaner just since it's already been distributed that way, take it out of executive, and that $13,000 is still going back into the system.
Back to lodgers.
Back to lodger's tax on the promotional side, yes, sir.
And that's why we had approved, and then we went on because they wanted more or something, and now we come back and now we have to redo it. Okay. I mean, this is what the lodger's tax needs to realize, is we need to get clarification when people are asking for funding, that
Right.
it's gonna be used for that purpose and not come back and re-modify it. Because that became a controversial, because we gave them so much and they wanted more, and then they came back and asked for more. And now you're saying they're not gonna use it, so they're gonna throw it back in and ask for another request.
They got awarded $20,000.
That's correct, because they had a complete proposal of what they were gonna use it for.
Right,
Now they're not gonna use it for that, but they wanna change it.
right. I mean,
And at the same time, we were using with the other promotional people, they were arguing and fighting with us, wanting more money too, and we didn't give them. So
right,
that puts the commissioner in a very situation that's not right sometimes, especially when you're dealing not only with one entity, but you're dealing with other entities that are asking for more.
right.
So I know it's all the same amount, but what was clarified that day was a big upset.
Right, and I
And it was
understand,
in here and there was a big upset over it.
right. But in the end, y'all awarded her the 20, but that's neither.
Yeah, I know, but they gave us a definition what they wanted, that's why they need to increase.
Okay.
And Karen, you wanted to?
Yes, this just was not my idea, by the way, Mr. Moya, Commissioner
No, I'm
Moya.
not saying it's your idea.
It was suggested to me. We've had a different year. This is coming off of a pandemic, trying to do an event. Now we've got extra fuel costs coming up. So, doing the best we can in my defense and in our board's defense here on trying to do a good event. But it was suggested to me that I could do this. So that's all I'm doing is asking.
Yeah, and I understand that, but I'm just still saying what the original proposal was. And you remember, you were here, you created a problem here. You got a little upset that day too. And that's what I'm saying.
There was a little bit different
Yeah, it
circumstances
is, but at
included
the
in
same
that.
time, we still have to answer anything, and we get blamed that we're not cooperating, but we want to have everything accountable for. Thank you.
Right, thank you.
Madam Mayor.
Yes.
Mark, on the executive side, they don't affect your budget there at all.
No, we have, since it has been a record year, and from what's been rolled over from previous years, we have plenty of executive funds. The one thing I did caution lodger's tax is just that we need to have a set budget at the beginning of the year and not have so many separate requests throughout the year. I recommended having a line item when we discuss our budget for, say, and this isn't set in stone, I'm just saying like 40,000 set aside for opportunities that come up throughout the year that are pre-approved. That way we can have it that way versus somebody asked for this, now somebody else asked for that, and so on and so forth. I just want to do a little bit better job of planning upfront at the beginning of the budget year, because similar to the city budget, say we have a budget and it's easy math, it's $100 for the whole year. When you do that, just because we have cash in reserve, or call it a reserve, call it cash pool, whatever you want to, and say we have $500 sitting there, just because we have the $500 doesn't mean we have to spend it, just because we have it. So we want to work within that $100 budget as much as we can. So same thing with this. This is going to make us exceed what we originally budgeted for the year. We've done it so with other items as well that they were good ideas, but I just like to have better pre-planning so we work within our budget.
But how are you gonna distinguish?
That applies to everybody but the police department.
How are you gonna distinguish between promotional and executive, because you say you wanna have a little leverage there or something like that. How are you gonna distinguish? Because those funds have to be defined, what are you gonna use them for?
Correct. And in the
And
way
so you really can't just say, give me 40,000 just in case something happens. You have to define, are you gonna use it for promotional, or are you gonna use it for the executive? And this is important to realize.
it'll be defined, yes, sir, and that's where it's gonna go, say, and it was just a rough number, it could be 20,000, 15, whatever it ends up being, and it'll be specific for magazine ads, for commercial ads, for opportunities that come up throughout the year. And then we could do the same for executive. I was speaking more in terms of promotionals, what we discussed. But yeah, we could do that as well for executive as well.
Yeah, because, the largest tax has the definition, how we're gonna spend them and how we're supposed to spend them.
Correct.
And there's a definition between promotional, which is mandated, which is 50%, and 50% for executive, Okay.
All right, any more?
And don't deviate again, because it's really, I hope it don't become a practice.
I would entertain a motion to approve the lodger's tax fund for Longhorns during rawhide days.
Madam Mayor, I'll make a motion to utilize the 13,000 from executive funding to fund the Longhorns for rawhide.
Second,
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Terry,
yes.
Mayor Litchfield,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Moya,
Yes, since it's gonna be a one-time.
Commissioner Ganada,
Yes.
Commissioner Arias.
Yes.
Next, under new business is requesting approval to utilize lodger's tax executive funds to send Chamber of Commerce Director to the Travel Alliance Partners Conference.
I'll be presenting that, Mayor. Thank you, Commission and City Manager. This is another one of our opportunities to go to a conference. It's much like the ABA. I actually like this setup, and I got several letters of recommendation from, again, Gallup, who has been really the spearhead for us in getting into these tour groups. And I'd be happy to present those to you too. But TAP actually contacted us. That's the Travel Alliance Partnership. They will waive the $16.95 fee because they just want us to be a part of this charrette. So basically, this conference is different than the last one. The last ones, we had to request appointments and hope that they requested us and we get them. This time, we're put in a pod with other people from our area, and we create an agenda. The last one that was done was the Route 66 Chicago to Santa Monica. We are on this for day 8, but we weren't involved in the planning, so they don't stop here very long. So we want to be a part of these planning pods in order to make sure that we get a day or a pit stop or something more than just a mention on these tours. So that's what this is going to allow us to do. We go to Branson, we're put in a pod with other area communities, we create an agenda, and then we sell it to each operator that comes in and sees us. So we don't request appointments, we get appointments with all the operators automatically. So it's just a little different format, but I think that it has shown results in us actually being in an itinerary we weren't even involved. And also ABA, we've gotten 2 planned events from. So, that's the motorcycle cannonball. And then we have a Route 66 group tour out of Ohio that's actually planning a stop as well. So we've gotten 2 tours from just attending one, not to mention the connections with Visit Amarillo and all the water cooler conversations that I've had now. This will be the same thing. So I request your approval unless you have any questions. One thing I would like to add is I called about the flight this morning. It went up $100. So my request needs to be $100 more, otherwise, the chamber will cover that. So.
Any other questions, comments? Okay. I would entertain a motion to approve this request to utilize lodgers tax executive funds for Chamber of Commerce Director to attend the TAP conference.
So,
Do I have a second? Okay. Roll call, please.
Mayor Litchfield,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Webb,
Yes.
Commissioner Villanueva,
Yes.
Commissioner Arias,
yes,
Commissioner Terry.
Yes.
Okay, next is request approval for the contract for human resource services. That'd be Mark, I believe.
Yes, ma'am. I passed around a contract agreement. There's some negotiations that went back and forth to make sure everything was spelled out for both the city as well as the independent contractor. Our previous HR director moved on to another position. However, since that time, we've only received a handful of applications. I expect to have hopefully interviews next week. But there's a lot of things that have the potential to slip through the cracks, that have certain expertise, that you have to know certain things and have certain capabilities to get this job accomplished, different logins for reports and things to the state, internal controls. So one thing that I thought was practical and realistic on the interim until we could find or hire a new HR director was to contract with our previous HR director. This would be part-time, 10 hours a week, 20 hours a pay period. And again, throughout the contract, it spells it out. This is only temporary until the position is filled. Well, excuse me, past the position is filled. This individual will also be able to help train and show the basics of the position to the new HR director whenever that becomes available. And at this time, I just stand for any questions or comments. And if not, then I'd ask for your approval.
What is the rate of pay?
Rate of pay is $500 every 2 weeks, equivalent to $1,000 a month, which is actually a penny less than what the last HR director was making. Plus, we're saving on benefits, so overall, it's a savings for this position if we were paying it.
Have you run this contract through the attorney, because I saw some errors in here?
Yes,
Have you?
I'd like to.
This contract?
Yes, sir. This was approved by an attorney.
Man, we need to read this. Because, okay, how long will this be? Contract?
The contract?
Yeah.
It's until the position is filled,
And how long is it going to be?
or passed, yes. It's not to exceed, though, it's not going to exceed 3 years or anything crazy like that. This is just a temporary contract.
Why haven't we ever cross-trained people on situations like this, so we wouldn't have to do this?
Because HR is a specific job
You can
that
still cross-train people.
you could cross-train people, but every other individual that would probably fit within the scope that could do it is swamped right now, including myself. So, again, this is not exceeding the budget. This is actually saving money, and it's still feeling the need to fill the position.
No, I understand that, but sometimes it can be sufficient. Sometimes we should have somebody who can fill in. That, like, any other position we have in the community, in the city, that we should be able to have people cross-trained. So when somebody leaves or something happens in an emergency, somebody else can fill in.
Right now, I am the person filling in, and it's taken away from other duties. And so, yes, sir, I agree with that with the cross-training, but there's very specific requirements for human resources, and I don't think it fits with any of the other open positions right now.
Any other questions? I would entertain a motion to approve this request for a contract for the human resource services.
Madam Mayor, I'll make a motion that we approve the contract for human resources services.
Do I have a second?
Okay.
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Moya?
Yes.
Commissioner Villanueva?
Yes.
Commissioner Arias?
Yes.
Commissioner Cherry?
Yes.
Mayor Litchfield?
Yes. Next on the agenda is a presentation from Clay County Health Council regarding intimate partner violence. Excuse me.
Hi, that's a subset of domestic violence, but it's one that we find is necessary to address in our community. And this is very dear to me. I'm the chairperson, and it's dear to me because I'm a survivor of intimate partner violence. And that is violence between husband and wife, or live-in partners, or boyfriend and girlfriend. And it's not pretty, and it's not fun. I'd like to tell you, our goal is to educate the community about intimate partner violence in an effort to reduce the number of incidences. Currently, I believe I don't remember, Chief. Oh, he's gone. Shoot. I don't remember if it's 4 a week or 4 a month in Clay County that they are being called out to specifically intimate partner violence. There are other domestic violence calls between cousins or brothers or aunts and uncles, whatever. Last year in October and November, we conducted a survey to see how aware the community is of the problem and of the resources available. We used, we used the same questionnaire and techniques that were used at the very beginning of this project, which was a little over about 18 months ago. People with similar characteristics, people who had been abused in one way or another, were questioned in the interviews. The interviews were typed up and sent to 2 of our task force members, who scored them on a rubric to determine where we were. And at the beginning of the project, we were at 0 on the scale. The ones that we interviewed had no knowledge that this was a problem here in our community and of the resources that are available. This time, we were at a 3.53, which in 18 months, that's a good amount of progress to make. And 0 indicates less than no awareness. 3.53 is vague awareness on the scale. So people are starting to get the idea that, yeah, we may have a problem here, and they kind of know where they might go to get help. Prior to the Super Bowl, we produced a short video about the correlation between sporting events and intimate partner violence. When I was going through mine, they said that Super Bowl Sunday had the highest number of calls for for intimate partner violence, domestic violence in general. It's not that way now because I think there's been some headway in people getting help when they need it in the communities at large. It was posted on our page, which is the Clay County Intimate Partner Violence Task Force on Facebook. And before the Super Bowl, we had 50 views, which for a community, that's pretty good. Our first quarter project, in order to continue what we're doing, was to give teachers, Sunday school teachers, and others who work with children some ideas of how to respond to a child who discloses that they live in a dangerous home. And Caitlin Duncan, who works with Arise, gave that presentation. There were 51 in attendance at Tucumcari Elementary School. She did another one via Zoom. And I believe we've had, between that and what Caitlin also did for children, we've had about 150 views altogether. So we are reaching the community. What Caitlin read was a book called A Terrible Thing Happened. It's a book about the feelings you have when you witness something scary, and it was written for preschoolers and young children. This was done as a Facebook Live on the Tucumcari Public Library Friends page, and we've been asked back. So that's exciting. We will be doing more reading of books to the young children and posting it in Zoom or Facebook Live. Our future plans also include a workshop or presentation each quarter of this year. This first one was about how to respond to a child who discloses some scary information or scary things going on at home. The other ones will be how to have an appropriate conversation with your spouse or significant other that does not involve any kind of violence. We also will be discussing handling holiday stress and anger management. And one of the things I'm excited about is we're going to do something along the line of Real Colors, which is a program that allows two people or more in a family to discover how they communicate. And because when they know how they do, they're able to communicate better. And you're each given a color based on your personality type. And then you're given some hints and tips and ideas of what you can do to make sure that your partner understands what you're saying. We still have some mirror clings that we handed out starting last year available. They have a QR code that will take you to resources. If somebody scans it on their phone, it will take them to resources on what to do if you're in a situation that's dangerous. We have those in several of the restrooms in restaurants around here, and we still have some left. So if you know of a place that could use some, we just put it in a place where a woman or a man can scan it without fear of being approached by their partner and ridiculed or whatever. Are there any questions?
Oh, it sounds like a very intense program.
It is,
Yes.
and I'm excited that I'm a part of it. It's good for me. And I think that it's going to be great for the community.
Thank you.
Thank you for your time.
Work. We appreciate it. Okay. Next on the agenda is the city manager's report.
Yes, ma'am. I will start with, most recent topic is the railroad crossing at Rock Island. I was able to speak with the local track supervisor, I guess, if you would, from the railroad. And they stated, unfortunately, this is going to be something that we will be dealing with for a while. They are going to be doing some construction on the rails. And unfortunately, based on the length of the trains, that's why they're having to do this construction. They're having to accommodate trains in excess of 17,000 feet now. And in doing so, there are times, like now, even though they moved the engines away, it's still close enough where it's triggering the signals. With that being said, they said there's also a potential that we'll have the same thing happen down at the crossing at the cemetery. They've stated that they're more than willing to work with us for funerals. They will try to keep that open as much as possible if we could give them enough heads up. But they still consider, since the overpass is open, that's still available. I've already coordinated with Fire and EMS. They are agreeing to use only the overpass at this time for the sake of time. That way they're not going over Rock Island, whether it's open or closed, and then having to double back. So we've already arranged some things internally as a city to increase response time to make sure we're not being held up. But unfortunately, I don't think there's anything we're going to be able to do as a city to get that crossing open. This was happening, I guess, for a week, and after I talked to them, they told me it was going to be moved that night. It didn't move that night. It didn't move till the next day, but still, even though the engines were moved, the traffic signals or the gates were still lowered. So again, I asked the public to be patient. This is a process while they do the construction. It could be up to 2 months. So this is going to be happening off and on occasionally. Sometimes maybe there's not a train there. We don't have to worry about it, but we did look into it. We did the best as we could as a city, and now it's out of our hands.
Wait a minute. Are you sure they can actually cut the access that long?
Yes.
Have you talked to the transportation department and at the state level?
Not the transportation department, but since we have two means of,
That might be 2 means, but still the egress and regress there, I think you need to go up higher and call the state and see what you need to get some answers on the state. If the state said, we can't do anything, let's go there. You know, I think I think there's something that should be done. And I believe that we have the right to go through that railroad property. I know back in the 80s, we annexed it as a dedicated easement because at that time it was only railroad property. Call the state, see if you can get somebody to give us a good answer on the transportation area. Please let us know back. You know, sometimes we ask you and then we don't hear anything. This is important because I'm getting a lot of requests from people who have to go all the way around to the bridge or all the way up to 54, you know, and that's a railroad crossing where a lot of elderly use, which is simple and easy. And I use it all the time going home. Now I have to use Maple and then First, but at the same time, see if you can get us a good answer, not whatever they say. See, or somebody with authority like the transportation department. If you need help, call me and I'll see what I can do to help you out.
City Hall hours have now changed from 9 to 4 o'clock. Previously, we were open 10 to 2. I'd like to congratulate and thank Michael Carlson for applying and being appointed to the Planning and Zoning Commission. I also have a financial packet for the chaparrals that I'll be emailing to the commissioners so they can look at that, so we can start discussing potentially transferring that over to Monarch Properties.
What are we gonna do to Monarch Properties when we're still having problems over there with the quake? Why can't we put it out for bid, let somebody else get it? You know, those are things that you need to discuss with the commission. You know, I'm not into giving it over to Monarch. We have enough problems with Monarch managing the quake.
There would still be a process. It's not simply giving over. It's just conducting discussions like we used to. You have to be a certain entity to be eligible to even get that
Yeah,
transfer.
but there's other
Of
entities.
course, there'd be a competitive process. It's not just going to be handed over. Wanted to let everybody know that the senior center will be going after capital outlay. After discussion, it's not feasible. Previously, we had been talking about planning to build a new senior center. That's not feasible. So currently we have discussions of a potential renovation of the existing as well as an addition to the existing. So I just want to put that out there to the public before there's rumors that we're doing something else, but we will be looking at building an addition and renovating the current.
Is that just because of the rising cost of materials, or was that problem before that?
I think it was difficult even before the rise in materials, because you figure you got to have property acquisition or find existing property, and then it's from scratch, it's engineering, it's construction, so it's a lot more feasible to use the existing site and then just renovate it and expand. Next commission meeting, I'll also be giving the commission update on lodger's tax numbers. That way they can see exactly what's coming in, what's going out, clicks, impressions, etc. Lodger's tax, we'll discuss, we'll have a meeting, lodger's tax meeting next Wednesday, the 16th. I encourage all to attend. The current lodger's tax applications for events are due the 15th on Tuesday. Lodger's tax will then on Wednesday discuss them and make the recommendation of how to distribute those funds per those events based on applications.
Okay, Mark, can I ask you something?
Yes, ma'am.
If we all attend, is that a quorum? Do we
Yes.
need to be careful?
So if the commission wants to attend, please let me know and Alec know. That way we could put out a notice that you'll be attending.
Okay. I was gonna say,
Would it be a quorum if you broadcasted it and someone appeared remotely?
I think as long as there's more than 3 present, yes, or 3 or more. Present.
right,
Now that I know that there's a lodger's tax special meeting, then I can go ahead and put the notice out, informing the public, and if you all want to show up, then
There may
Cover
be.
there
there
might
may
be.
be a quorum, correct?
Do you have a conflict with that date?
Do I have a conflict
Yes.
on Wednesday?
Yes.
No, sir.
Okay, dispatch?
I'll have to double check that. I don't think so.
I'm just trying to keep up with my manager.
I don't think so, but I'll double check. I don't recall having a shared calendar. I think it's the week after, but I'll double check.
Do that because I saw that conflict.
I'll look into it.
Thank you, sir.
I also wanted to state that the city has started to pick up the items we received through the hardship auction through NMDOT. We received a few pickups, and we also will be receiving a street broom. It's not quite the big fancy street sweeper that we have now. There's going to be a street broom to help sweep some of the debris that we have. And last but not least, I was able to attend the Create Bridges meeting yesterday. It was very informative. There's quite a few different key staff throughout, not the city as a municipality, but as a town. Scott was there, Connie was there. There were quite a few people represented, the county manager. And it was a very good discussion talking about economic development growth. Where can we go? What can we work on, these different plans and visions? What are our priorities? What do we see as needs to get some economy to taken care of? So very good presentation, great meeting. And with that concludes my manager's report. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Next is items from commissioners. Commissioner Arias.
Thank you, Mayor. I don't have very much at all. I would like to go ahead and disclose a potential conflict of interest that may come up in the future. I have been, for the past couple of weeks, a participant in the Main Streets Chincory Forge Accelerator Program. At this time, I do not see where it would prevent me from voting on any future Main Street projects. So I will be retaining that as well. So,
Okay.
but just in case there's a question on it, just that way everyone knows that I have been a participant, and who knows, I might not even go on to the next step.
Very good.
I was asked by one of the local Girl Scout troops to announce that they'll be out at Lowe's grocery store on Friday the 11th from 3:30 to 6:30, Saturday the 12th at Lowe's from 9 to 3, and Saturday the 12th from 10 to 2:30. Okay, so get some cookies so you have something to eat with your coffee.
Commissioner Cherry.
Just a couple quick things. Mark, I'm concerned about the crossing as well, and especially the cemetery crossing.
Correct.
So I'd like to make a suggestion. I hate to put more on you, but could you get with railroad people and see if they would send a representative down to meet with you and maybe the county manager, their chair, and our mayor, and see what we can do, because the cemetery crossing, I know you said that, and they've always worked with us with funerals and things like that. We can't schedule fires. You know, we have a lot of fire traffic there. that would be 5 miles or more across. So I think if they would agree, that would be something good that we all could work out.
And I think that's a discussion we could have where I think there's some days they could go the extra step to
Break and
move it and move across, but I think there's some days when they really are in the heat of the construction of the rail that it may not be feasible, but I'll definitely reach out to them as well.
At least we let them know our concerns. And also, is tomorrow municipal league area meetings? Is anybody planning on?
Yes, that is tomorrow.
Are you gonna run for office, Chris?
I haven't thought about it anymore,
Oh, okay. I was just curious. So, Madam Mayor, that's all I have. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you.
but with that, I did have interest in applying to be our district representative to the board, but.
Mayor Pro Tem Moya?
Yeah, well, I like to revisit the railroad thing. Are you gonna be able to do any investigating, see what else we can do at the state level about our, this is my district, this is my people that are calling me, and I'm sure they've been calling you, Commissioner Sheriff.
Every day.
And we have to be responsible and get an answer. We don't, I mean, the railroad is gonna give us the answer they want. We have to have a answer whether we have the right to be able, can they actually really block it or not block it, okay? I know we have other access, but if there's a possibility of moving those trains a couple of feet back so the crossing will be accessible to people, can you, I think the commission would like for you, I mean, I know I would, for you to at least contact the state and see what we can do, or contact an attorney and see what we can do. This is something that this is not something that has happened just for a day or two. It's been already 2 weeks that thing is being blocked. And nothing has, I mean, for me to go to my house, either I have to take the overpass or I have to get the 54 all the way up there. For farmers who are moving their tractors, I see the locals and everybody who use that across it with the big old tractors. I'm sure they don't want to go over the overpass with the tractor, and they can go to 54, so I don't know where else, over to the cemetery, I guess, whatever. But, you know, you need to find out and get us an answer from the state whether they can or cannot. Can you do that?
I believe so.
Okay, give us an answer with that. The other thing is, the other day I was waiting for some glass to be caught over here at the, or near the convention center, so I had some free time, and I went over to the convention center, and they're doing a big job on scraping that floor. That's unbelievable. That's a lot of work in there, a lot. And it's gonna look good. I just got back from the convention in Roswell, and they had that done, and it's so easy to clean, and the convention looks nicer. They don't have carpet, they have that, whatever you do, the scraping of the ground, on the floor, whatever it is. But it's gonna, I like the ones in the convention in Roswell. The other thing is, as I was touring the convention while I waited for the glass to be cut, one of the things is, I noticed that on where they had replaced, taking the tile on and stuff, well, there's gonna be a lot of work in replacing, what do you call that, sheetrock or whatever it is that doesn't look very tacky? That's gonna be expensive. That's a lot that they have there.
It is gonna be expensive. I gave a quote to Lodgers Tax last meeting. They came in higher than what expected, so we shot that down. That was gonna be to redo sheetrock, $70-some thousand. So it's not realistic. There's other means of doing that without spending that much, so I've talked to the contractor, and we're looking at different baseboard to cover it, and you'll never even know it's there, so that'll save us.
There's a lot of the sheetrock is completely rotted out.
Just in the back portion on the southwest corner, that back
I
entrance,
walked through it, so I know it's on the side and it's on the other side.
that I could have done internally through our facilities maintenance, but as far as the baseboard in the hallways, that's gonna get covered more than likely. We talked about a wood option today. It's about excess of 8 inches, plus or minus, so it sounds like we'll probably do a wood baseboard. We had a paper baseboard that wasn't factored into the cost anyhow. And same thing for the ballroom. It has an existing, I think, 4-inch toe base, so we're gonna go with that. But to pay $76,000 to do that was unreal, so we're gonna go
We
different
never
option.
put any money into, what is it, about a year now? Or so, it's been a long time. I didn't visit it before I went to Roswell. I would have seen what they had over there on the basin. But I hope you do a good job on it, because the last thing is to do is spend all this money renovating and still look dumpy.
It'll look amazing by our first event in April, guaranteed.
Hopefully. What's going on with the Youth Lake Water, Commissioner Arias, you're on that board? What's going on, what's happening with that?
With that, there has not been any other meetings since our last. And with that, that was,
Before COVID, wasn't it?
yeah, it's been a while. There hasn't been any more meetings on it.
Is this the water we intend to utilize for the Student Care Lake in case we do something with it?
I would like to see it.
The original talks were for New Mexico Game and Fish to punch a well out there, but yeah, we have to find money to build a pipeline. It'd be expensive, but it's not out of the question. That's an option.
No, we gotta start thinking of how we're gonna use that water. Eventually, we're gonna lose it. Water's starting to become a real football around New Mexico, especially around our competitors, because they have aquifers that are not being recharged. We're lucky we have our Curry and Conchas to recharge ours, they don't. So this is gonna be a subject that's gonna have to be addressed by us. So that's something I wish the commission keep in mind, see what we're gonna do with that water and see how we can utilize it. 6,000 acres is a lot. I know we're using some of it for the golf course in Logan, but we certainly want to be able to maintain that water and never give it up. That's a future growth for us. Right now we have enough. That doesn't mean that later on we may not. Probably history by then, but it's okay. The other thing is, what's going on? How have the commission ever thought about the grant writer? Are we still in for hiring somebody to do that or anything like that? Mayor?
I think we kind of went to the event coordinator and talked about that. And Scott, don't you have some grant writing experience?
But that's a different.
I know, but let me finish. And then we talked about that, and then we talked about maybe looking into the assistant, like an assistant city manager, grant writer / grant writer. So, well, I don't think we've done any actual.
We talked about that, and in the last meeting, I brought up how New Mexico Municipal League, with all the federal funding coming down, how they're actually hiring grant writers to assist the municipalities, as well as training, which I have sent that information to community development, and I've requested that all staff as possible attend those trainings so they could help strengthen and with the templates and the help with the grant writing. So that was also another option that we've been working on right now.
And how about the assistant city manager? At this point, I'm gonna say really very blunt. Mark is overwhelmed. He doesn't return calls. I can never get a hold of him when I need something. And this is because the citizens are calling me, they're complaining to me. And so, and you're overswung. You got a lot of duties, a lot of work, and I'm gonna put it on this commission. Are you guys interested or not in bringing some kind of assistant to help this man? Because he's busy, it's not his problem, he can answer calls, he's overstrong. So what's the commission wants to do to be more responsible to the public, and when they call us, like the railroad thing? I think I called you 4 times, 5 times, and never got a call, finally got one. But you know what I'm saying, and people are asking, what's going on, what's going on? And you call, nobody in City Hall knows other than you. So an assistant city manager would assist and help with some of the other loads that he has. So I don't know, what's the commission? How do the commission
I got a
feel?
question on that, Mr. Wayne. Say we do hire him out, and we'll get the money to pay for that.
We can work on the budget. There's area in the budget we can look at. There's areas we can cut in the budget. We're already looking at I'm looking at some areas that we can look at, to work with that money to be able to hire somebody to help him out. We cannot continue to operate where we're not responding to the public, because he is overloaded.
I understand that. But what I'm just saying.
We have areas in the budget. If you look at the budget, if you have some time, we can go over it and I'll show you what we need to do. This is a big corporation, and everybody should have an assistant city manager, especially as big as we are. And the budget is, and we can sit down and we can really look at it and I don't know how the rest of the other.
I was gonna say,
I guess I feel about something like that.
I've been all for it for a long time.
Is it in the budget now, Mark?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
yeah, see, that's what I'm.
it is budgeted.
So we need
Yes.
to move forward and see if we're gonna be able to create that position so that we can fill it, so that we can continue to answer questions the public puts on us.
When are we gonna start budget?
I hope to start budgets realistically in end of April, beginning of May.
And when do you think we can, when does the commission feel that we need to put this position out?
As soon as possible, as far as I'm concerned.
How about you, Commissioner Andres?
It's definitely, there's the need for some extra help. And
Yeah, definitely. And how about you, Commissioner Sheriff?
I think you're gonna have a hard time finding somebody this time of year. I think I've gotta have a work session and thrash this out.
I don't think so. The pay comes good. I'm sure we'll have somebody.
I was gonna say, when are you gonna start the next person?
That's what we have to do. That's what we're doing. And that's what,
What?
we have to be competitive with the rest of the, since it seems like most of the majority of the commission wants that, I think we need to proceed forward. And that, maybe we need to put it on a work session so that we can
That's
set
what he
a
just did.
time and a date for that to be fulfilled. Mayor, I request that on our next work session, we put this down. Thank you. And that's all I have. Thank you. And it's nothing against, the city manager. He's doing an excellent job, but the man is overloaded. Thank you.
take that as a vote of confidence. Keep it where you're at.
Write that down.
Commissioner Villanueva?
Okay, yes, I got a few things. Got a question on the city manager. Anytime you take off, can you let us know when you're off?
Yep.
Even if it's a text?
I'll be off tomorrow.
Cause I'm like you're out. People are trying to call, talk to us, trying to get ahold of you. They're like, we call, they say, I guess, like you said the other day, your phone won't ring while you're driving. Right?
Which I switched that evening, so now I'm asking when I am driving.
The thing with the railroad, is there a way they can block it off, if they actually have it closed, putting detour signs?
The city or the railroad?
City
I
or
imagine the
railroad?
railroad probably wouldn't do that, but I mean.
Because what happens if somebody drives through it and gets hit? Who's gonna be liable, us or the
The
railroad?
individual driving because the arms are down and they're flashing signals.
Yeah, but still don't say road closed.
There's been threats on that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, you know what I mean?
There has been, and if it's broken, not next person's gonna go through. I think that it's open.
Yeah, they gotta actually really put something saying that it's closed, you know what I mean? Detour, because a lot of people that I've talked to, I'm not from here, they tell me. Like I tell them, you can use the First Street Bridge, you know, goes to Sackett, goes to Maple. But they need to do something like that, I think, put a detour or put a sign closed or something. I just don't want the city to be liable for a lawsuit that we shouldn't even have.
Yeah, I could speak to the streets, we could do something with that.
And, that is, about the pothole. I think the work orders, we need to get rid of those. I think we should get at least 2 people doing potholes, you know what I mean?
Well, they're being fixed. The ones I turned in have been fixed.
Yeah, I don't
The
know
stop
how
sign
we,
was fixed. I appreciated that.
how do we, track it without work orders? I don't know what you mean by.
Well, people say that they call in and nothing ever gets done, you know what I mean? Like,
So I've explained this at previous meetings. So just because somebody calls in today doesn't mean it's gonna get fixed tomorrow or even next week. There's a lot of factors when it comes to the work order system. That's the process. They call in up front, they put it to the system. But again, I wanna remind everybody out there listening, we have a streets department of literally 2-3 people. So it takes all those people just to run that pothole machine. In saying that, if somebody calls in sick, if someone's on leave, if equipment's down, we can't get to it. If we have a stack of work orders 20, 30 high, it's first come, first serve. Just because someone calls that day does not mean it's gonna happen. I've explained this to concerned citizens that they called into me. I've told them follow the process, wait your time, it may be 2-3 weeks, but we'll get to it. And it's happened. I followed up with some of these individuals and it's unfortunate. We don't have the funds to have more pothole filling equipment. It's a shame we don't have enough money to go out and get more employees to do that, but, I mean, these guys are out there filling as best they can.
Well, the way I see it is, we need to figure out a way to get more employees. You know, you wanna hire help for you, I understand that. Well, we need to hire employees to help street departments or cross-train, like Mr. Moya would say.
We actually have a vacancy. People aren't applying for jobs. There's a vacancy at the street department right now.
We need to do something, you know what I mean?
I agree. And it all starts with GRT and bringing in economy and having more funds or raising rates. I mean, those are the important decisions that the city commission has to help make when it comes time to budget discussion.
That's all I got, Mayor.
Okay. I'd like to thank Michael Carlson for his being willing to volunteer for the planning and zoning. We appreciate our citizens who do volunteer for these things. Also, too, I would like to thank the street department because I had asked several times and it did finally get fixed, which was fine. I was trying to be patient, but there was a stop sign right by the high school that was completely faded on 7th Street, totally. And it did get replaced and I do appreciate that. And I know I've turned in several pothole requests and some of them aren't fixed yet, but some of them are. So, just try to be patient, I guess. Anyway, thank everybody for coming tonight and, I appreciate your presentation on the domestic violence. We've been trying to get you scheduled for quite a while.
Third time's a charm, right?
I know, third time's a charm. So
There you go.
thank you very much for coming and, thank you for everything that our citizens are doing to help us. So anyway, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
Move to adjourn.
Second. Need a second. Do I have a second?
I'll give a second.
You choose.
Roll call.
Commissioner Genova?
Yes.
Commissioner Arias?
Yes.
Commissioner Terry?
All right.
So.
Mayor Litchfield?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem West?
So what's on the schedule for June?
Mayor Pro Tem
Oh,
West?
yeah.
Okay.